Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris, and I'm dialing in from Ballito, KZN, at the moment today. And welcome to the Thursday night training call, Thursday, the 25th of July, 2024. And tonight we've got a very exciting call lined up. We've got Warren and Annette that are on the call. Some of you guys have seen Warren's testimony that we put onto the groups about a month and a half ago. Now, the way that I met Warren was a very good friend of mine, Claire, that I've known for many years. She stays in the UK at the moment. She joined the Lifeway family right in the beginning, about 18, 19 months ago. And 2 months ago, she sent me a message and said, Chris, I urgently need you to speak to a friend of mine by the name of Warren. We've known each other for many years, and Warren has been through the mill. He's been through the mill, and this man is at his tether from a pain point of view. And I believe in my heart that this product is going to make a difference in his life. Can we have a chat to Warren? I'll never forget this. I spoke to Warren on the Friday morning, and sometimes you just connect with a person. Sometimes when I speak to a person, I normally talk for about 3-4 minutes, and then we move the conversation. I think Warren and I, we were on our very first phone call together for about over half an hour, just close to 45 minutes. We just connected on so many different levels. And I said, Warren, you know what? Funny enough, tomorrow we've got a presentation in Bryanston. How far do you live? He said, no, I'm not far from Bryanston. I'll be there in the morning. And, as most people are, they walk into a meeting kind of thinking, okay, what's going on here? I've heard about these little patch type things. What is this really going to do? What is this little sticker going to do for me? That's the reaction we get from people. And yes, Warren got patched with the X39 for the very first time on the back of his neck. And wow, that's all I can say, how your life is completely turned around. Warren, I'd like you to introduce yourself to everybody and tell us a little bit about your history and, your rock climbing, your passion, what happened, and a little bit about what you've been through the last, let's call it 4.5 years. Warren, Lynette, so good to see you guys on the call. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So I'm Warren, and I had an incredible, terrible hell journey. Can everyone hear me? Is it coming through? Chris, can you hear?
Yes, it's got a little bit of an echo, but we can hear you.
So I had the most beautiful life until the 29th of April, 2019. For 25 years, I was a rock climber, climbing all over the country, mostly in Cape Town, but Namibians, Great Spitzkoppe, Toolbach series, De Toys Kloof, anywhere where there was good quality rock. And I was prolific. I had contributed to climbing magazines and climbing guidebooks. We actually found a new guidebook the other day, and there were wonderful photos of me in there, and it was just amazing to see how much I really contributed to the sport. I didn't consider it a sport. I considered it a way of life. It was my life. It was all I really concentrated on. And I'd created a wonderful life for myself around it. I used to guide in mountains. I was working with the Botanical Garden, with Kirstenbosch Botanical Garden, with Stellenbosch University, with Professor Ted Oliver there, with UCT University, Professor Anton Poe there, predominantly on wild orchids. And they referred to me because I saw a lot of them in habitat all over these mountains where I was climbing. So when it came to their growing programs, they would call me in and consult with me what type of soil do I find them in? Are they north facing or south facing, in shade, in dappled shade? And it culminated in two beautiful books on wild orchids, and a couple climbing books as well, often in climbing magazines. And life was just sheer joy. I used to climb every third day. And I didn't have a lot of money. I had enough money. I had my own house. I was servicing my bond. I had a nice car. I was paying installments, medical aid. I had a good life, but I actually considered myself very rich or very wealthy because of the lifestyle that I had. You know, I would have said that if you had have said, who's the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, etc., I would have crossed all their names out and put my name there. Warren May is the richest man in the world. And like a balloon that gets popped with a pin, came crashing down on the 29th of April, 2019. I woke up in the morning and I had a home invasion. I had 3 armed robbers in the house, and I got stabbed in the neck here and I got shot. And the gunshot entered my groin and it came out the left leg, and about halfway between my bum and my left knee, and it severed the sciatic nerve. And I woke up in hospital. I flatlined. I lost a lot of blood, and they had locked us in the house, stolen the car keys, cell phones, the cars, everything. So rescuing myself was also very difficult. By the time I landed in hospital, I flatlined a couple of times. They revived me. I woke up in hospital, and I thought, wow, great, you've survived. And within an hour of waking up, I realized things were not that great. My leg was incredibly sore, on a pain that was, the level was indescribable. And this type of pain was also indescribable because I'd hurt myself before. I'd torn my meniscus cruciate ligament, my cruciate ligament, both my hamstrings, my rotator cuff, and I'd been punched a few times as well for having a big mouth. So I knew about pain, but there was no reference to the pain that I was experiencing, not only in my left leg, which is a pain called phantom pain. Anybody that loses a leg or a limb, in particularly motorcycle accidents, they always go back to the doctor and they say, my foot is sore, but they've lost the foot a year or two a year ago. So I had this phantom pain, which I only found out what it was when the doctor came around to my room. And on the right side of my body, I had another pain. I had incredible pain in my sacrum, in my bum, and toes in my left feet were tingling. And I realized I had a problem. So I said to the nurse, please, even if I'm asleep, when the doctor comes around, he wake me up. I need to talk to him. And I even left a note. I wrote a note, please wake me up if I'm sleeping. And I put it in the front, on the front of my bed where the file hangs. The doctor came round to the room later on that day, and I said to him, Doc, something doesn't feel right. My left leg is just, it feels like I've got pins and needles on steroids. And on the right side of my leg, I've got another pain, and I'm in a lot of discomfort. And the doctor said to me straight out, he said, I don't want to paint you a pretty picture. Your back is mangled. Your sacrum is shattered. You're going to need surgery, 2 surgeries at least on your back to alleviate your pain there. You've got herniated discs between L5, S1, and S2. He said, that's going to have to be fused up. And you've got nerve entrapment, and that's causing the problem on the right leg. He said, we can fix that. He said, your left leg, the pain you're describing to me is called phantom pain. And amputees have this condition. And the bad news is there's no real medical cure for this pain you have. And he made recommendations. He said, he referred me to an occupational therapist. They kitted me out with a wheelchair, with a wheelie walker, and with crutches in the beginning. And they kind of taught me how to walk, which was not even close to walking, as you people know. And I spent the first 15 months in bed. I was bedridden with back pain and leg pain. I had a special artificial orthotic made that went from above my knee to below my knee, and it stabilized me, which enabled me to get to the toilet and back, or from the bedroom to the dining room table and back. But the pain was so bad in the first 15 months that I couldn't get out of bed. I used to wee in bed at night. I couldn't get to the toilet quick enough, and I couldn't feel my bladder because the gunshot had done some damage there. So started my journey of trying to find a solution for my pains, of which there were none. The list of drugs that were prescribed to me over the first 9 months was mind-boggling. My brother used to inject me with pethidine before he went to work in the morning, and as soon as he got home from work in the afternoon. So I was on 2 jabs of pethidine a day. It wasn't touching sides. I went back to the doctors. They could put me on morphine. It wasn't working. I went back to the doctors. They put me on fentanyl patches, which recently I've read up about fentanyl, and it's 50 times stronger than morphine. And there was no relief whatsoever. Then my mother started to get really concerned because I was literally screaming the building down every day. And she took me to the neurosurgeon who treated Joos van der Westhuizen, and he died of a very, very cruel disease as well. It was called motor neuron disorder. And my mother decided this was the best possible neurosurgeon, neurologist that one could possibly see. And she phoned her and she literally begged her to see me. She said, because the waiting list at her was about 9 months. My mother said, I don't have 9 minutes. Please, we'll come at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. I don't care. Please see to my son. And she put me on Lyrica and gabapentin. And none of those worked for me either. The Lyrica turned me into a zombie. I used to sit like this. I couldn't get a word out of my mouth. My brain, the words would be there, but I couldn't participate in a conversation. I became a mute, dumb. I couldn't get words out. So, and the pain wasn't going. So I decided I'm stopping that as well. I was ruthless with the drugs that I was taking. I would give them 4 to 6 weeks. If I didn't see an improvement, that would be it. I'd say, no, this drug's not working. Change out, get in something else. At the 9th or 10th month mark, the pain was still excruciating. I still needed to have back off. I had both these problems going on. I called my mother to my bedside and I said, Mom, I found a solution. She said, great, what is the solution? I said, there's a clinic in Zurich called Dignitas. I want to go there. I want to do an assisted suicide. I can't go on. And completely shattered my mother. But I convinced her. I said, Mom, I cannot go on with this pain. It's driving me insane. My weight had gone from a healthy 70 kilos, it plummeted to 49 kilograms. Because when I came to your patch party, I was 49.5 kilograms. My appetite had gone, my sex drive had gone. I was constipated. I couldn't sit on a toilet. I couldn't get in and out of the car. I couldn't work. I couldn't sleep. I would fall asleep at night, 7 o'clock at night, sheer exhaustion from pain. And at 11 o'clock, I'd sit bolt upright. The pain would wake me up. And I was literally sleeping maximum 3 to 4 hours a night. And there was no joy. So I convinced my mother, that's it. I'm over this. I'm out. We called the family together and she said, Warren has got some news to tell you people. And I said, guys, I'm checking out. I've booked. I'm going to Zurich in March 2020. I'm doing an assisted suicide, and that's the end of me. There's no ways I can go on. And by the grace of God, COVID broke out in 2020 in February or March, and I couldn't get to Zurich. So that plan just fell on its face. Again, the balloon, bang, popped, gone. It was like, give a child a balloon, a 6-year-old, and then pop it with a pin and see what's going to happen, you know. So that plan was scuppered. And I thought, you know, there's other ways to do it. I'm just going to kill myself. I'm going to find a way to kill myself. And I started saving all my Tramadols, Targunex, Tramacets in a pill, an incredibly addictive pill as well, for painkiller called DF118. So my mum would bring me my pills to take at night, and I would say, I'll take them now, Mum. And as she would go out the room, I would stash them next to my bed. And I started accumulating my pills because I was going to eat them all the moment that I had a chance. Or if I could get down to her vehicle, I thought about gassing myself in the car overnight. I couldn't go on. And I went onto Facebook and I Googled suicide groups. I wanted to die. I couldn't go on. And I got onto this group of incredible pain sufferers called suicide headaches. It's also a neurological condition and there's no known medical cure. And I got onto the group and I said to the moderator, I need to die today. I cannot go on. And an incredibly compassionate man started corresponding with me and he said, wow, what is going on? And I explained to him the situation that I was in. And he provided me with a solution to get rid of my phantom pain. It's beyond the scope of X39. But when you're in the situation that I was, morality flies out the window. Okay, if someone had have told me to eat pigeon droppings, that would give me a solution. I would have happily done that. I would have taken any recommendation. And he said I need to do a course of psychedelic material, of magic mushrooms. But I had to get off all the drugs before he would put me in touch with someone that could do this. And I ended up doing about 4 weeks of cold turkey, withdrawing from fentanyl, morphine, DF4, all the opiates I had. It was another excruciating addition to the excruciating pains that I was in. And I came back from the journey and my phantom pain was gone. And again, it was another up and down because with the sheer agony of the left leg gone, I could now measure the amount of pain that I had in my right-hand side. My sciatic was a mess, my sacrum was shattered, my spinal column was a mess, my discs were herniated, I had nerve entrapment. And very fortunately, I managed to get hold of the head of neurosurgery at the Charlotte Maxeke General Hospital. And he agreed to do my operations and they checked me into the Joburg Gen. I had 2 massive back surgeries in succession, consisting of a foraminotomy, partial discectomy, and a laminectomy, which were intricate procedures to my spinal column. And then the next operation, I went in and they fused me up, and that were the procedures. I stayed in the hospital for 5 weeks. On discharge, I said to him, Doc, my back's still sore. And he said to me, Warren, your back is a mess. You are never going to walk again. You're never going to hike again. You're never going to climb again. You're always going to be with walking sticks and the Zimmer walker. I urge you to get out and use the Zimmer walker, which I hated. And no disrespect to any elderly on this group that uses Zimmer walker or those walking frames. I hated my walking frame. I hated the sight of it, the functionality. I wanted my hands free. I wanted to walk around and have my hands free. And for another 4 years after that operation, I walked with a minimum of 1 walking stick, always 2 walking sticks, and my Zimmer frame in utter pain. I couldn't stand straight up. I used to wake up in the morning and have to do half an hour's remedial yoga on the floor to kind of get my back going. Nanette used to do Reiki on me and massage my back every day, nearly. I was getting a massage. I couldn't move. I couldn't sit in the car. I couldn't get in and out of bath. I couldn't get out of chair without Nanette pulling me out of chair, and preferred to be lowered slowly into the chair. And I hated life. I was in excruciating pain still, and it continued, and it never ever got better. Any walking which I would do in the day would result in me in agony at 7 o'clock at night. And I used to fall into bed at night in pain. I couldn't eat anymore. The pain was so bad that I actually could not eat, and my weight went from a healthy 70 kilos to 49 kilos. It plummeted. My face was gaunt, and I was coming to the end of my tether again. And the pain was just getting on my nerves. That proverbial saying, the pain in the arse, was what my life was. It was the pain in the arse of, I can't, it's just the pain. Nerve pain is indescribable. And about 4 months ago, I decided again that I couldn't continue. I couldn't hold down a job. It was just, life was just hell. There was no reason to wake up in the morning. It was just if I dropped something on the floor and Nanette wasn't here, it would remain on the floor until Nanette got home from work to pick it up. And it's a very undignifying thing when you can't take basic care of yourself. So sad to say, about 4 months ago, I woke up at about 11 o'clock at night. And I thought, you know, Warren, I'm done, man. I'm not going on. I can't continue. My landlord had started doing repairs to his roof, so there was a wonderful ladder outside. And I'd identified a wonderful sturdy pine tree in the back of my garden with a nice big thick branch, and I decided I was going to hang myself off it. The moment Nanette stepped out of the house and left me alone, the next time I was going to hang myself. And I started Googling how to tie a hangman's knot. I went onto YouTube, and would you believe it's there? The information is there. And I was Googling this knot, and I'm a rock climber, so I can tie 20 or 30 different intricate knots. And I was studying how to make this hangman's knot. Nanette woke up and she said to me, Warren, who are you talking to at 3 o'clock in the morning? It's an ungodly hour. I said, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just Googling some stuff. And by some God intervention again, she leaned over and looked at what I was Googling and saw this hangman's knot on the screen. And she flipped out. She said, Warren, you can't do this. I love you. Your parents love you. Your friends love you. You can't just check out. And I said, Nanette, I can't go on. It's impossible. And that's when we decided that we would start exploring other avenues of recovery. And the first thing I did in the morning, I bought a medical aid, a top hospital plan from Discovery. Discussed with the consultant whether it would cover back surgery. And he said yes. The balloon was inflated again. And then came the pinprick. Popped. There's an exclusion for 1.5 years on back surgery because of the condition, 1 year, because of the condition of your back. I thought, oh my God, 12 months of this? I don't have 12 months of this. I didn't have 12 minutes left of this. And so that afternoon, I speak to Claire quite often, who signed up. She's a very, very good friend of mine. And I said, Claire, I'm done. I don't know what to do. I cannot continue. I'm at the dead end. I've hit the dead end. I can't turn left or right because those are dead ends. This is the dead end. I want to die. The pain's too much. And she said to me, Warren, she is taking a remarkable product. It's called X39. It's copper peptides. It generates your stem cells, and she's had massive relief from pain. Why don't I give it a try? So I was already in medically for probably R500,000 and more. And when I said, what does it cost? And she said, it costs $150. I converted it 3,000 Rand. Sounded like quite a bit, but in the context of things, it was a drop in the ocean to what I contributed to doctors. I was spending 9,000 Rand a month at the pharmacy, Oxia, Cataflam, and Stopay, and I'd reduced my drug intake too because I thought those were the safest non-addictive things. And I didn't phone you immediately, Chris. I delayed it a few days, and I went into a shopping center on a Thursday. On a Thursday, I bumped into an old friend of mine there, and he looked at me and he said to me, Warren, where's the rest of you? You look like, excuse my language, you look like shit. And I said, that's how I feel. I'm done. I'm in pain. I don't eat. I don't sleep. I'm scared to go to the toilet. I can't get in and out of bath. I can't shower, which I like to have twice a day. I can't sleep. My life is at a standstill. He said, you know, here's a friend who had excruciating pain. She's got a miraculous cure for aches and pains. Can't he get her on the phone? And I said, please do. And he got hold of this lady, Ingi. She's on our group. And I said to her, what have you got to tell me? She said, I've got these patches called X39. Ching, light went on. I thought, what are the chances of hearing about this miraculous stuff twice in 2 weeks or in a month? I said, this is special. I don't believe in coincidences. There's no such thing. This is serendipity or whatever it is. Synchronicity. I came straight home. I said, Ingi, I've heard about this stuff. My friend has spoken to me about this stuff. I came home, I phoned Claire. I said, Claire, give me the guy's number. And that's when I phoned you, Chris. It was a Friday morning, and it was, you sounded totally authentic, genuine, and convincing. And that's why I came to the patch party on the Saturday morning. However, I woke up after an incredibly bad night's sleep. And we were early. I got the times wrong. And I was on the way there. It was 8:30. And I phoned Jan and I said, what time does this thing start? She said 9:30. So I said to Nanette, let's stop at Woolworths and get a cup of coffee and we'll just kill an hour. It took me about 15 minutes to walk from the exit of Woolworths to my car in the disabled bay, which is 10 meters away. I had to stop 3 times. I used to stand like this. This is how I used to stand and walk around, like holding my back. I couldn't stand straight up. And we came to the patch party. And as we walked in the door, I think Sandy or Jan put a patch on my back and said, have a seat and enjoy it. And I went and sat right in the front there. And the presentation started. And I'm serious with you. Within 1 minute, I could feel the difference. But I thought, you're probably dreaming and you're going to wake up to the nightmare of your life. 10 minutes went by, 15 minutes. At about the half an hour mark, I started moving around on my back to see if I could recreate the pain that I had in my sacrum. And there was nothing. So I started doing this, like dancing in the wheelchair. Nanette said to me, oh my God, do you have pain? Can I go and get you a cushion to bolster your back? Because if I put a cushion a little bit under my bum and kind of straightened up, it would relieve the pressure on that L5, S1, S2 area, and it would bring me a little bit of comfort. And I said to her, no, I can't feel any pain. And she said, I'm quite amazed. And I continued, and then I thought, well, just settle down because you're probably looking strange. The presentation was over in about an hour and 15 minutes. And Nanette stood up to pull me out the chair. She would have to stand in front of me. I would lock hands like this and use her arms to get me out of the chair. And I said to her, no, I want to get out of this chair and see what happens. And I stood up out of the chair like a normal person does, like you do and everybody else does. And I thought, can this possibly be true? And I said, Nanette, I don't have pain. At that stage, I thought it was 100% recovery, but I think it was realistically a 90 or an 80% improvement. Nanette used to put my shoes on in the morning and tie my shoelaces for me. I couldn't do that. I couldn't cut my own toenails because I couldn't get there. And the toes in my left foot had done this because it's paralyzed. So she would cut the nails and they would grow it was awful. She said to me, try and touch your toes. I bent over and I touched my toes. And then I thought to myself, right, now I'm going to give this the acid test. I want to walk around the garden. I want to take a walk around this jolly big garden of Jan's and see how I fare without a walking stick. And after 1,854 days, because I counted them, I counted the days, I knew how many minutes, I knew how many hours exactly my hell journey had gone on for. It was a macabre thing, but I knew exactly how long ago my injury started. And I put my walking stick down. I only took one there that day. And I walked around Jan's garden, 1 lap. And I thought, no, you've got to do this again. Because my hands were free and I could touch the flowers and I could look at, she had beautiful orchids in her garden, some videos on the side there. I was smelling them and my smell returned. I couldn't eat, taste, or smell. My pain was so bad. And I came back into the room. I looked at you, Chris, and I said, Chris, sign me up. Right now, I had 3,200 Rand left in my bank account that had probably come from a donation from my mum who would sponsor me. And I thought, I will give every single penny to this company if this is the relief that I have. And the rest is almost history. We did the sign up, and at that stage, what I was interested in doing was using the patches for my own pain relief. I'm not a salesman. I'm not into sales. I'm a horticulturalist. I grow things and I climb things. That's what I like to do. And sales it's not. I'm scared of sales, overcoming objections, being nice to people unnecessarily because you want their business. It's not me. I'm pretty cut and dry. And if I don't like someone, I like to say, that's me, that's you, stay away from me. And then I was worried that I would go without the patches until my patches arrived. And I said to Chris, I'm worried about this. I'm now going to have no patch tomorrow. And Chris, the giant that he is, put his hand in his pouch and he said, here, here's patches. I think you gave me 10, Chris. I mean, I don't, you just said, here, here's patches. You're not going to be without patches. And you want me to try the LifeWave patches. So
Yeah,
the IceWave patches. So anybody that can back their product with paying it for free forward, they know that that's coming back to them. That's the first important thing that Penny dropped for me. Let me hurry up so we can continue. Then Chris gave me IceWave and he said, try these IceWaves as well because these are also magic. And Nanette said to me, Warren, if you're feeling good, why don't we drive through to my mum's house in Pretoria and let's put the patches that Chris has given us, the IceWave. You weren't going to get the X39s out of me because they were working. Let's put it on my sister. Ordinarily, I would have said, no ways am I driving in a car another hour after sitting in a chair for an hour to get lowered into the car, pulled out of the car, driven for an hour to Pretoria, pulled out the car, dumped in your mom's couch, pulled out the couch, back in the car, an hour back to Johannesburg, repeat this whole thing over again. No ways. There's no ways. I said to her, yes, let's go to your mom. So we drove to Pretoria. We got to Pretoria. The mother looked at me and said to me, Warren, Undine said to me, Warren, you look different. And of course I looked different because I wasn't like this. In agony, my whole face had released tension. We patched Undine, we got in the car, we came home. On the way home, Nanette said, how are you feeling? I said, like, I am feeling fantastic. And that night was the first night in 5 years that I didn't go to bed at 7 o'clock. We watched a movie. In my lounge, where everyone has a seat, I have a bed. I never sat on a chair for 5 years. I lay on the bed in the lounge. That was my position, lying down. I was bedridden, basically. I used to consider myself the dead living. That's how I described my life. I was the dead living. I was a dead man that was breathing. So we went to bed at about 11 o'clock that night, and it was the first time in 1,854 days that I slept for 8 hours. I put my head on the cushion, my eyes went to sleep, and I woke up at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was amazed that I had slept. I had forgotten how to sleep. It had passed me by. The sleep, I thought, was a thing of the past in my life. Nanette said to me, what do you want to do today? And usually it would be, let's go to my mom's house, because I wouldn't go out in public. I wouldn't go to a restaurant, a coffee shop, because I used to have the twitch from the pain. It used to bite me, and it was just a do that to people enjoying their meal. Look at some guy shaking around like a leaf on a tree in the wind. And I looked at her and I said, Nanette, I would like to go rock climbing this morning. And she looked at me and she said to me, excuse me. And I said, yes, rock climbing. This is what I want to do today. I'm feeling so great. 24 hours later, 1 day later, I want to go rock climbing, which Nanette's a rock climber as well. And I had taken her to the rock climbing places a few times, broke my heart to look at people climbing. I used to cry. I used to look at people doing what I love, and it was like a child in a toy shop without money. It was no joy for me. It's a bit selfish that I couldn't enjoy Nanette's joy, but I just, it wasn't I just looked at climbers and I used to get annoyed. I used to look at happy people and I used to get annoyed. Like if I saw happy, laughing, smiley people, it used to hurt me that I used to be like that and I wasn't like that. We went to the climbing gym and I climbed a grade that's not a beginner grade either. I climbed a mediocre grade on a safety rope so that I wouldn't hit the deck if I fell. And I got off the route. 20 meters was the route. I came down. She said, how do you feel? And I burst out crying. That was me. It just, the tears started running out of my face, tears of joy. I knew that my horror hell had just come to an end. Like, bang, it was the end of it. We climb every second day. I'm climbing at a grade. Listen to this. I'm climbing at a grade, the same grades that I was climbing when I was an able-bodied two-legged man. I climbed those same grades with the one paralyzed foot. The toes that were like this are now straight, except for one. Only one is curled over. I can move my foot. Can you see this? I'm moving my paralyzed foot. It's meant to be dead. It's not meant to do this. And life has been great. Okay, I can't explain to you. I sleep at night. My appetite's back. My weight's gone from 49 kilograms to 62 in a matter of months. My energy levels are through the roof. My mental clarity is through the roof. My luck, if I can say that these patches, they're lucky patches. There's been people whose business I've been wanting to secure for a long time, but I haven't been able to represent myself properly. And they have suddenly, over our last few conversations, said to me, Warren, I want to do the business. I want to place our business with you. It's incredible. Every aspect of my life is just falling into place. And if you had to ask me, Warren, what is it? Say it's X39. It's just a miraculous thing for the body that I'm radiating light. And I know people say that on X39 you need infrared glasses, night vision glasses to see the light coming out of the body. That is for sure. But I can tell you every person on earth sees a person's aura on a subconscious level. You don't realize it. And people are looking at me. I put something on Facebook the other day. A friend of mine who used to visit me when I was mangled said to me, Warren, you look 20 years younger. I'll send it to you, Chris. He said, you look 20 years younger. I said, I know, I'm on X39. It's age reversal. It's just, I mean, I can't extol the virtues of this product. The word of the day for me is X39. The word of the night is spread the word of the day. This is it. I don't even know how the binary system work or the commission structures or anything. I don't care. I just know that whoever comes across me, boom, I'm telling them about this product X39, especially the people that saw me in the diabolical way that I was. And that's basically my story, from a beautiful life to utter sheer hell that I don't wish on my worst enemy, to complete. X39 has given me a reason to live. It's going to be the biggest part of my business. I'm focusing on it more and more and more. I've upgraded from bronze to gold to silver within a couple of months, to silver to gold in a couple of months. Whoever I see, when they say to me, Chief, and another thing, my hair gone gray here and here from the stress and the pain and just hell. And my hair's gone brown, guys. There's no more gray hair on my head. It's literally gone brown. Someone asked me the other day if I dye my hair. I mean, I wouldn't dream of dyeing my hair. Are you mad? You know, if I'm going, but it's going brown again.
It's no kids.
It's no kids. I have your kids. So life is good. I have my sense of humor back. I have my joie de vivre back. I have my zest for life back, my appetite, my sleeping, my mental focus. Wordle, my Wordle score's gone from I don't know what to 95%. I solve a game like that in 5 minutes. It's not even a game for me anymore. It's a joke. And everyone says to me, you look different. I've put on weight. I'm putting on weight. I think X39, or there is, I'm not trying to put people off that are overweight and want to lose weight, but what I think X39 does is it gets your body to its right metabolic rate. My appetite is voracious. So I've eaten this fridge out every single day. And I mean, it's phenomenal, Chris. And I'm so thankful that I found you. Like, it's amazing. David Schmidt, I want to meet him one day and thank him as well in person. And I believe in God again. I can give thanks, and I'm grateful. I'm gratitude that I have this beautiful life. It's a beautiful life again. That's
All I can say is, oh my word. I was speechless. I had a few of those lump in the throat moments. Wow, Warren. Wow, thank you so much for sharing your amazing story with us. And I've watched this journey since you've been patching, and between yourself, me, and Annette, we speaking just about every single day.
correct.
And I love what you said earlier. I can't be like a salesperson. I can't sell. That's the beauty of this. Nobody enjoys selling, you know. But let me tell you, what people do enjoy doing, which we were talking about last week, is sharing from the heart and sharing
Yes,
from the soul. Because
yes,
people, what we spoke about last week is that people pick up your frequency, they pick up your vibe, they pick up your
yes,
energy before you even open your mouth. So
yes,
we were
indeed.
talking on a bit of a higher level last week, and that's why I said, Warren, I'd love to get you to talk and we can go a bit more deeper. Um, we know what we get told of what this beautiful product does. I mean, we literally see miracles every single day, and you are certainly one of those miracles. But we believe that this product is doing a little bit more in the background than what actually meets the eye. Because, when you think about it, it is like semi, if you want to call it, unexplainable. And this is where we talk about having a complete leap of faith, having a complete leap of faith. And it's going into, if you want to call it, the semi-unknown, because if you think about it, um, your journey of that 1,854 days, the pharmaceutical industry um, was not able to help you.
No,
And
not at
this
all.
is where us as humanity, I'm just going to say it straight as it is. We have been conditioned and programmed over not a couple of years, but we've been conditioned and programmed over decades, right? That take this little pill and this is going to help you. You've taken enough pills in your life and
Yeah,
hasn't done much. And we understand that, the way a lot of these pills have been designed is you take this pill to fix X, and 3, 4 years later, we can have the next problem, and then you take another pill to counteract that one. And people wonder why they get to the age of 60, they wake up in the morning and they're taking 20 pills, and they go, how did this happen? No, it didn't just happen. It was a process over decades that eventually got up to that point. It's like, if you look at a frog in hot water, if you have to get a boiling pot of water and you drop the frog into the boiling water, what's going to happen? The frog is going to jump out because he's burning his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because it is hot in the water. But how do you cook a frog? You cook it slowly and you put the frog into cool water and you slowly just turning that temperature up, and eventually, this poor frog ends up cooking and it's cooked itself to death without even knowing it. And that's kind of like what happens. It doesn't just happen like that. It takes there's a process to get there. And that's a lot of what we're seeing today, where we see people that have got certain ailments. I mean, I look on the groups, my goodness gracious, I've heard of some diseases I didn't even know existed. I'm like wondering if some people are typing it up and trying to think, does this actually exist? I've never seen names like this before. I mean, these are like words this long. I didn't even know this existed. But it goes right back to what I was saying in the beginning. 2.5 billion people are suffering from some type of pain, some type of pain. But at the end of the day, we've got to be realistic. Everybody's body is different, right? And you are what we call a one-patch wonder. Okay. I'm a 5-day wonder. My mom took 3.5 weeks before something happened. And then my wife, Lucinda, took 7.5 weeks. So we've always got to remember as well, and I'm very mindful of this when I'm sharing LifeWave with people, that everybody's body is different. And I use you as a reference. Trust me, I say, oh my goodness, you're going to meet this random man, Warren. Oh my goodness, you're going to catch him. He's a life completely turned around. But we can't say to everybody that this is what's going to happen. We know something is going to happen. That we do know. but it's going to take a process. And that's why we always talk about that 90-day protocol minimum. And then you talk to Sandy, which I'm going to get Sandy to jump on the call now. Sandy comes from the health and wellness background. And Sandy always talks about, for every decade that you've been alive, you've got to be on the product for 1 month on top of the 90 days to get your body to that optimum level. So say you are 60 years old, that means you'll be on the product for 6 months plus the 90 days, plus the 90 days. So it's basically 9 months to get your body to that level. And when people stick to that, and you guys see me drinking this nonstop, drinking water and being consistent, guys, that is, yeah, there you go. There's your water. And that's the consistency. That's the secret. That's the secret, is the consistency. And you know what? I'm going to go right back to what I just said to people. Have a bit of faith. Have a bit of faith. Because if you think about it, you've all heard the word called blind faith. We've all heard the word blind faith. And if you think about it very carefully, this little sticker is a little bit of blind faith. Because guess what? It's not like a physical tablet that you're taking. This little tablet's going to go and do something. This is a little sticker that you're plucking onto your body. You can't see anything. And this is where we've got to have that paradigm shift and just have a bit of faith. And I think anybody that watched David Schmidt's call on Saturday night, let me tell you something. This man, I think he's an angel that's just come down onto this earth to help humanity. Let me tell you, this man is a very special man. And like you said, Warren, one day I can't wait to shake this man's hand. And all I would like to do is just say thank you to this man. So I'm getting Sandy onto the call. Sandy and I have known each other for many, many years. And Sandy comes from the health and wellness background and has always got words of wisdom. And we've spoken about Warren. I think you guys have met at yes, you met. Okay, there we go. Sandy, I'd love you to just step in and just close the meeting for us.
Thanks, Chris. Firstly, thank you, Warren. Thank you, Nanette. I met you that day just after the presentation. I saw you walk in. I've been talking to people about you. And I remember saying, you plank thin, looking at you from the side.
Yes.
I mean, you were worn out. You weighed less than I weigh, and I'm not a big person. And I can remember you walking in bent over with a stick. And when I walked up to you to talk to you, your stick was over there.
Yes.
You didn't even have it next to you.
I almost forgot it there.
Exactly. And then you started telling me what happened during the talk. And then the next day, I saw this video clip via Chris of you climbing like a flippin' spider up this wall. I mean, we've seen our son and grandchildren climbing, but you were just scuttling up there. I was gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. And exactly what Chris says, I wish that would happen with everyone. But sadly, it doesn't. Me, I took 11 weeks, even longer than Lucinda, before I noticed anything. But I was lucky when I started. I had no pain. I had nothing diagnosed. My digestive system was always sticky. And I mean, I got a result week 11. We were moving house. I found this red jersey, brand new, big cowl neck. Put it on. Didn't think about it. Hadn't worn it for 7 years. Wore it again and again. And then Eric and I remembered I used to get eczema like that across my neck. No eczema. So I don't know when that changed. Was that week 5, 7, or 11? And then month 9, my hairdresser said, Sandy, you've got new hair growing all over your head. I lost half my hair in 6 weeks 30 years ago after an op. I never thought about those follicles coming alive. And I mean, I'm not a youngster, so it takes more effort. And then month 15, I find I can eat some wheat and dairy, but I overdid it 2 days ago. God, I felt terrible yesterday. I ate half a roll with chicken mayo. It was delicious, and then I felt terrible. So it's getting there, but it's not there yet. And exactly what Chris says. You know, I was seeing a Chinese guy one day, and he said to me, whether you're 660 or 90, the basis is 90 days, 3 months, plus a month for every decade of your life. And that's not the end of it. That's just noticing what's happening. And that's so true. And many people know this story because to me it's a prime example. There was a chap who came to see me 18 months ago, age 45, 7 diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fibromyalgia, colitis, and 2 other minor things. Ate shockingly. Had had a few peas in the past 3 years. The only vegetables he'd eaten. I felt like smacking him, but anyway. But his mother was the cook, and she believed she was right. She didn't believe in vegetables, and they were all sick, every single person and the kids. 2 months later, Sandy, no change, but I followed up with him. I said, really? You're not noticing improved energy or sleep? No change. He drank water, thank goodness. So I re-explained what happens with his own stem cell. Hour later, WhatsApp. Sandy, my blood sugar's improved so much. Which of these 2 medications should I come off? Next thing, my blood pressure is now 110/74. Should I get off the medication? Do you think it's the patches? So, you know how I felt. But I phoned him because I wasn't sure if he doubled the medication or what. No change in medication. Still got this terrible pain. I said, well, continue eating junk. They were eating deep fried fish and chicken and chips every night. I mean, I don't know anyone does that. Anyway, so I said to him, well, would you agree? It's not the patches. It's your own stem cells activated via the patches. Would you agree your heart and your pancreas are more important than the pain? Prime example. So I always repeat that and I asked him to go to his doctor to reduce his medication. So Warren, thank you very much again. To me, it says it changed your life physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially it's changing. And
Absolutely.
I've got to say to you, I think you're an angel.
Thank you, Sandy.
Because for you to have lived with Warren through all of this could not have been easy.
No.
No, you are both remarkable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish every blessing to pour down onto you. I really do. I believe it was divine intervention.
Me too.
And you'll be changing so many lives in every way. And thank you, everyone who came on the call. Go out there. People are waiting to hear from you. I feel it's my obligation to share this. Thank you. Have a super evening. Thanks, Chris.
Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Nanette. And you know what? Like I said to you, Warren, the other day, I said the knock-on effect, you are going to be changing not a couple of hundred people's lives. The knock-on effect, you are going to have an influence to change thousands of people's lives. As Sandy just said, people are waiting. People are waiting for you. So, guys, we're having our convention on August the 24th. And Warren, he's going to be there. So anybody that wants to meet Warren and Ned in person, Warren is going to be there, and he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to have a little bit of a talk on the stage. But I think he's ready now. First time I said to him talk on the stage, he was like, "Are you insane?"
There was no ways. There was no
ways.
ways. There was no ways.
But you're ready now. You're ready now. And I think people love to hear that. So Awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who took the time out. This was a beautiful call from the heart, from the soul. I think everybody could feel it. Warren, Nanette, loved you guys. Sandy, love you. Guys, enjoy your evening. Love you all. See you on the calls during the week. Have a fantastic weekend. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye.
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 Send them younger.